Hi, my name is Harib, and I just thought that I'm going to impart some ideas here. So, the idea that I brought to you guys today is how to come up with something that impacts people's lives. The main focus today would be on how important is time for everyone, not just those of you who are starting out their journeys during college, during university, but those who have crossed the path of uh, starting your business or getting into the employment sector, those of you who have done this and are at the edge of their lives, who are listening to this, wherever you are in the world, um, this is important for you as well. So, today I'm going to talk about never out of size. So, how are we going to be never out of size? The size of life, the size of impact, the size of value, the size of basically the time that is left, the size of anything basically. We can come up with different concepts of time. And as you know, you spend more money and time, and things automatically get valuable. But as time goes on, there is a chance that that value is pointless for the person who doesn't have any time. Whereas there are many of you who have a lot of time but may not have the money. So you may find value eventually. Today's talk is about this. So I started off studying business at the University of Brighton in England. And over there, we had a good sustainability department and research based. It was a research based institution. Our main focus at the time was mainly on studying culture and organizational behavior across culture. I did some research at the time on a gentleman called Gert Hofstede, who told who was working in IBM, and he gave us a very nice quote, which is culture can be the way in which a group of people solve problems. So, how many of you have solved a problem today? Can I see some hands? How many of you have solved a problem today? Ever? Have you ever solved a problem? Ever in your lives? Great. Now I see a lot of people raising their hands. So you have solved problems. Everybody here is a problem solver. How do I know this? I know this because you guys live in a third world country, as do I. So we face a lot of problems in our society, and I'm not saying that developed countries don't have problems, but they have an advanced set of problems which we may not have at the time when this is being made. Because realistically, those problems will come for everyone. They can be environmental, they can be monetary, they can be related to socio-economic problems, or just the migrant crisis, as everybody's aware of. Now, we're going to move on to the next part of my life, which was in Hamburg. So I went to university there and studied social economy. Uh, Basically, at that time, the idea was to travel and learn more about different cultures and see how I can operate in a different environment all over the European Union and compare that to working back in Pakistan. And I would like to impart that vision with you today. And I think that it's really important for everybody in this room or whoever's listening out there to really focus on one thing today. When you leave today, don't think that you have all the time in the world, so or you have all the money in the world, because there's always less time, more money. But there's one thing that you need to focus on, and that one thing is value. How do you value and what do you value? and when do you value it? So here I am graduating, as many of you have or will. And that was a proud moment for me. I met someone over there. I only had two Pakistani students in my university, in my batch actually. One of them became a cricketer, started the cricket club in Hamburg, and the other, well, he's there too. He didn't come back. So they said to me, "Why are you going back?" I said, "I'm going to go back and I'll probably be able to impact more people because I'm going to a place which has more people as a population. I mean, Pakistan's got a big population, as we all know. Um, and also because I feel like if I can impart some information to you guys about how my experience was over there and what really matters, maybe that will impact your lives and give you an idea that it's not about the money. Yeah, I do business, but it might sound rich coming from me, but I'm not going to put you in that situation. I'm going to take you a step back. So here I am, standing outside a dump of landfill. What I'm doing here is I take bits of pieces of clothing. This was my first job. I got 24,000 rupees at the time, $100 a month. I would take that money and I would give it to the poor. I wouldn't take it home because the car that I would go in would the fuel per month would cost more than the money I needed to pay it. I would just take my salary and I would give it away. Not many of us would have that privilege, but many of us have value in and can create value. I'm a firm believer in that. So as you can see, I started making clothes and I didn't need to, but I just thought that it's better to learn from the grassroots roots level. So then, as it progressed, I learned more, I created more value for myself and my community and the people around me. And here I am holding my own exhibition for a company where I used to work at, getting paid much better than the previous slide, as you saw. And eventually, I thought of this concept where why do we have such landfill? Why do businesses go from business to business? Why can't businesses directly go to consumers? And I'm talking about the third world here. I'm talking about Pakistan here. I'm talking about general Asian factories or businesses or just small workshops or warehouses. Why can't someone in rural Sindh just get up, make something and directly sell it to the customer? It's because they don't have access. And the people who actually can afford those things don't have the time to actually go out and find those products because those products are being sold to businesses who charge a premium and sell it back to you. And you'd probably be buying it just because it has that label. And that's not how it should be. We should have smaller, smaller retailers, and we should have businesses which cater to smaller retailers with smaller batches so that there is less waste. And how that can happen is having, at the moment, there's no other technology for manufacturing other than 3D printing, which is going to change how we can get manufacturing closest to us. So, for example, you can have a 3D printer in your home, which is printing your clothes. Back in 2016, I was looking at some research on Kickstarter. It's a great website, by the way. I was looking at some research and I found that you can make clothes in your home by pressing a button. A t-shirt will get printed and you can wear it. Now, that inspired me to think that we could come up with a small franchise model that could empower local communities and people could then walk in and build their own clothes essentially or their brand around the clothes that are being offered in the market or the materials that are being offered in the market essentially because they don't know what materials are on offer and what they look like and how they work. So such a place exists in Pakistan where you can essentially make those things and then come up with the products as you can see here. These are people wearing products all over the world. Now, Now, one would say that this causes a huge amount of landfill. Denim. It's textile in general is about 10% of the global carbon footprint. And we need to make sure that that goes down. Well, from the manufacturer's point of view, we have a lot of ground to cover. So for that, we have new machines which are sustainable machines. So previously, you would consume 7,500 liters of water to make one pair of jeans. Now we brought that down and we're able to produce it for much less. The machines that used to create those washes that you see on those jeans, those beautiful fades, those whiskers, those patterns, all of them, those fades, they were created essentially by using stones. Now, special enzymes have been created that are neutral and they're not bad for the environment, and they create those fades. And further, we have laser machines that create those fades, and you do not even have to use much water, might even go down to a liter of water per jeans. So that's the industry fighting back for their place in the environment. Now, what can retailers do? Mass retailers, they can come up with more ethical and sustainable practices. There was an incident in Bangladesh, our neighbors, the Rana Plaza factory. It burned down in 2013. Primark, many of you have heard of the brand. They started paying back to the government reparations for the damages that were done during the manufacturing of their clothes in Rana Plaza complex. Now, when that happened, the brand got, you can say, some negative marketing. And in this day and age, you call it negative marketing, but I'd say it's bad for the image overall for those of us who are actually conscious about this. Same with Nike. Nike's had a lot of backlash. They had to go fix their image of using sweatshop labor for 10 years. They had to rebuild that image that they're not using that. So brands take a lot of effort to build, and it's very important for them to have ethical manufacturing processes. And it's very important for you today to understand why that's valuable for you. So it's not that you're paying more, but rather you're paying for someone who's ethical. So your vote is actually you buying something. So when you're actually buying something, you're voting to have that as the future, because that is what we're supposed to focus on today. And you can see here it got bigger, and then the manufacturers such as this, they have better social compliance, and they also have sedex. So they have better ethical practices, and they're certified by third parties and international bodies that try to make sure that underage labor isn't used and people aren't abused, and they have a good chance of starting with a good amount of wage so that they can provide to their communities. And organizations like that work towards those goals, and they make sure for people like you to have a good future and a good environment. So, two blessings that many people are deceived about are health and free time. So, it's important to create value with the time that you have. Thank you.